Vet, Amazon omsätter 60 miljarder SEK bara i Tyskland. Bara Amazon. Liksom. Så, ja.
No sound? Ah, sound, there it is. So this curve is every startup's dream. Zalando started in 2008, and since then has progressively been growing and growing again. For this year, we're now estimating that we'll reach close to 3 billion in revenues, and we're serving more than 17 million customers all over Europe. But there's a lot of work that goes into this. We successfully entered 15 European markets and adapted to each one of their local specialties, different payment methods, different questions about logistics, different languages, a lot of complexity. We also build up our increasingly necessary warehouse capabilities, and we now have 3 warehouses that we run ourselves on our own software, and we just announced that we're going to start another warehouse in southern Germany and opening hubs all across Europe. At the same time, we released apps to serve our mobile customers better. Now we have about 60% of people coming with mobile devices to our services. And then we had the IPO roughly a year ago. The IPO was one of the most successful tech IPOs that we've had. And if you go into an IPO, this is the kind of slide that you show to investors to tell them what kind of neat and clean, systematic architecture you have. Sometimes you use different pictures like this one. When you go to conferences with engineers, you show this. Now, I'm going to talk a little about the dark side of growth, because all these colorful pictures, they're not the full story. And this is why the story is a bit different from what the colleagues from Ticktail told. And I really like what they're doing. I think it's amazing how well they serve a lot of people out there and get them able to do e-commerce. But we are in a different point in our growth phase. So these numbers, 700, 1,312, 1,815. These are the numbers of complexity. So today we have more than 700 people in tech, and we keep this growing. We want to get much, much bigger in our tech department. But with more people, there comes the need for more alignment. With more dependencies, there comes more care in deploying. With more technological components, there's a bigger need for coordination. So this is the complexity, and complexity keeps growing. And as we know from Metcalfe's law, it keeps increasingly growing the more connections you build. And I can tell you, our systems have a ton of connections, and every new country, every new app, every new warehouse increases those exponentially. So this is what it actually sometimes feels like in reality. You have lots of different systems. You somehow need to coordinate them. And when you are in a growth phase, you make a lot of decisions where you favor speed over long-term sustainability. And if you do that, a couple of things happen. You build a lot of monolithic systems that don't really interact well together. You sometimes make a decision to build something for a fast purpose, to get something done, and then actually you never follow up with building the real thing that you intended to build anyway, the long-term solution. So for us, a key question is, how can we remain fast and agile? How can we still be there to take all the opportunities as we have done in the past? Every time we saw an opportunity into a market, we went there. When we wanted to start, we saw there's an opportunity for a private label, we did that. Now we want to stay that quick and fast and agile. And we want to do that because we believe there's tons of opportunities out there for growth. Our 3 billion in revenues is still a small fraction compared to roughly 300 to 400 billion that the overall fashion market in Europe is. So we want to grasp those opportunities. And yesterday, Robert Gens, one of our founders, talked on the other stage that we want to be the operating system for the fashion industry. So we want to be at the center of connecting all of these different people, connecting brands, retailers, merchants, the supply side, to consumers, connecting stylists, bloggers, ad agencies, content agencies, logistics partners, and looking at the problems, the questions they have, and try to resolve those and try to provide the right solutions. Because we think if we provide the solutions, we're doing something better for the entire industry, and at the same time, there's a lot of business value that we can create for Zalando. At the core of this for us, there's technology. And that is why we are investing in getting many more people. This is why we opened the hub in Helsinki. This is why we opened a hub in Dublin, so that we can grow quicker and get the right kind of talent into our company to build the technological solutions to solve this platform strategy. Now, our approach to doing both of that, taking opportunities on the business side and solving the technological complexity, is what we call radical agility. Radical agility is a concept we introduced roughly 8 months ago. We had a big event where we got all our engineers into an old factory building in Berlin. It was almost paradoxical that we're trying to announce a new way of working in tech, in a building that is really resembling kind of the most old-fashioned industry power, actually, in this case, that you can imagine. So we did that, and what is radical agility? At its core, it's a new way of working together. It's a new way of how we collaborate, how we align, how we coordinate. There are 3 components of radical agility. There's purpose, autonomy, and mastery. And in the end, what we want to have a self-organizing autonomous teams that are endowed with trust, that each one of them has a purpose, and they are on a pursuit of mastery, both as teams, but also individually. I can tell you, self-organizing autonomous teams for a German, that it's dangerously close to anarchy. So let me tell you a bit what we exactly mean with that. So, purpose. Purpose is not giving people a map. It's not telling them how to get somewhere. It's telling them where they should be going. It's about saying, go visit the Brandenburg Gate and take a bunch of pictures, but not telling them how to get there, what vehicle to use, what roads to take. It's giving them a goal, giving them a mission. The other thing could be we tell them we want our customers to be happy. Build something that makes our customers happy, that makes them feel that they are at the fashion party that happens on your mobile devices. Purpose always comes together with a vision. Vision is what the team wants to build in the long run to fulfill its purpose. A vision can change because we learn a lot of stuff. We do user research. We release things and we learn how users interact with it, how they react, what they like and what they don't like. So vision changes, but the purpose of our teams, the purpose of our organization stays essentially the same. The second big one, and this is probably the biggest component, is autonomy. It's the biggest change that we have done to our organization. Autonomy is a bit like if you launch a space shuttle. If you do this, you have to trust that the astronauts are knowing what they're doing, that they will make the right decisions at the right point in time. You gave them the right tools, you trained them well, and you have a lot of ground staff supporting them. But to be honest, to some extent, they're autonomous and they need to take care. Autonomy is not about anarchy, it's not about isolation. It's about giving people the right tools and the right to make decisions on their own. So what that means for us as an organization is our product managers, and I'm one of the product managers at Zalando, and I can tell you this has been a great shift for us. Our product managers focus now on what we want to do and why we want to do it. They can focus on user research, on understanding customer needs. They can focus on really defining what our success means for us. They don't have to deal in day-to-day management of tickets and ever-increasing detailed specifications anymore. They can really focus on what matters. Because on the other side, there's the engineer. And the engineers now are focused on how they want to do it and how they want to achieve delivery. That's at the core of this, that we really want to have clear responsibilities and then autonomy within that responsibility. Technologically, that means we're relying a lot on microservices. We need to allow each team to own the service that they are building. So it needs to be small enough that it can be owned by one individual team. We're designing very strongly with APIs, but we're starting with the specification of that API. And then we start to build it after we discussed it, not the other way around. We also let the teams decide how they want to work, who is taking what role. Everyone in the team has specialties, but the team decides how they work, who is going to take what role. A little like astronauts. Astronauts also usually have one specialty, but they're able to cover for other members of the team. Now, mastery is kind of one of the key things that we need for that to be ready. Astronauts go through a lot of training. And we want our engineers and our product managers to develop as well. So we've done 2 radical steps. One of them is we have separated the leadership of people from the leadership of the delivery. So every engineer reports to both a delivery lead and a people lead. The delivery lead is in charge of coaching and guiding their day-to-day work, helping them make decisions on their day-to-day work. The people lead are dedicated people, they're engineers, but they focus entirely on developing everyone in the company. So they have one-to-one relationships, and what they do is they sit down and they start what we call the tour of mastery. The tour of mastery starts with multi-source feedback. Then the people lead and the engineers sit down together and define what over the next couple of months they want to do to have development. That could be trainings, conference participations like this one. It could actually be shifting to a different team, because it makes sense to go to that team to acquire new knowledge. And then we frequently check on how the tour of mastery is progressing. So the people lead is there all the time and really coaches and guides everyone through their personal development. Trust. As you can imagine, a lot of autonomy requires a lot of trust. Product managers have to trust engineers that they put in every effort to build great software, that they make the right decisions between speed and quality. Engineers, on the other hand, have to trust the product managers. They have to trust into the product managers that they have done thorough work, that they have done good user research, defined the concepts well, and that they set the right priorities. And leads have to trust in everyone, that everyone is doing their best to deliver, and everyone is proactively participating in his tour of mastery. It's hard to trust, surprisingly hard, but when people feel trusted, it is an amazing and empowering feeling. It gives them a lot of motivation. And that's what we're already seeing in our organization, that people feel more liberated to talk, to discuss, to make decisions. We've done 2 more things to enable this, because trust is not enough in the end. One of them is we're using objective and key results, short OKRs, as a measure of alignment. This is a method used by other companies, Google, Intel, and a bunch of others are doing this. It's a quarterly alignment process. So once a quarter, we sit down, product managers, engineers, and define what are the objectives for next quarter. So for example, raise conversion rate, make a system more stable. Those could be objectives. And then we define key results. And key results are measurable indications that we've succeeded on our objective. For example, increase conversion rate by 1 point. Increase response rates of the system, increase stability of the system. So that's what objective and key results is for us. It's the plan for the next quarter. It's discussed with everyone. And the most important thing, it's transparent. We show it to everyone in the company. I can see all OKRs of all the teams at Zalando. And I can see what they're working on. I can understand what their priorities are. And that creates a lot of transparency in your organization. You understand why a specific team cannot help you right now because they're working on another important objective in this quarter. OKRs are not performance management tools. They're not there to hand out bonuses. Actually, we have gone 1 step further. We have folded in the existing performance bonuses for our tech department into the fixed salaries and have decided that we believe the best motivation is intrinsic, and it's not the carrot, the money that you have to hunt for. If you want to build innovative products, if you want to build good software, the really good thing is if you give people autonomy, and if you then say, we trust that you will do the right stuff, and carrot kind of rewards don't work like that. We still do bonuses, but they are what we call a now that bonus. And now that means if you've done a great contribution, if you've done extraordinary efforts, you get a bonus as a reward, but not as a carrot. Finally, we have also instituted something that we call the Tech Constitution. The Tech Constitution is a set of guiding principles for individuals, teams, and Zalando as a whole. And we describe rights and responsibilities as you would do in a constitution. So for example, the right, but also the responsibility to speak up if you think something is not right or should be done differently. The right that you have on executing on your tour of mastery. You'll find these posters everywhere in our offices, and we take them quite seriously. Now, I would invite all of you, if you want to learn more about radical agility, how that has changed our teams, and learn a lot about the stories that we have done for the last 8 months, to visit our tech blog at tech.zalando.com. There are new stories, new amazing stories coming up every week. We'll write about the conferences we visit, we write about systems we are building, about technological innovations. It's really cool. Moving to radical agility is not a straight road. We are experimenting a lot here, and actually that's at the key of it. We're actually asking teams to try different methods and then share their stories. And that's what's going to happen over the next couple of months, and I'm sure if we talk again in a year, we'll have learned more and more, and we can share many more insights on how this is working. But in the end, we believe radical agility for us is the key to move tech to the heart of Zalando. To really make sure that even in the future, we can succeed by being agile and being fast and quick enough to take on all the new opportunities that are coming up.